Trump has been very good at, we're building a wall, we're going to repeal Obamacare, we're going to, I don't know, but those things, those quick bumper sticker things. With Democrats, it never seems like we have a unifying message. I mean, Barack Obama was the last time I can really think of even just a slogan, which was amorphous at best. Change you can believe in. Yes, we can. I mean, it's not a legislative agenda, but it's at least something that brings the party together. Republicans, they're fractured, but they're still unified around Trump. What can Democrats unify around?
Well, and the reason for that, Michael, the reason Democrats don't seem unified around an agenda is because for the past 7-8 years, their agenda has been, this guy is bad. He's anti-democracy. He's evil. He's a traitor. He's a criminal. All those things are true. But their entire agenda has been, he's bad. And so Democrats haven't had yet to do any soul searching on who they are, because it's all been about beating Trump. That day's going to come. If Trump wins in 24, the Democrats are going to be forced to do major intensive soul searching. But even if
are they though? Are they? Because like when we lost in 2016,
they'll be forced to. I don't know if they will actually.
Well, because in 2016 when we lost, that was the thing. Everybody was like, "Oh, we're going to do an autopsy." Every party says when they lose, we're going to go back and figure.
Stop. The difference was you lost to Trump, somebody we've never seen before. So the next 4 years, all the Democrat agenda was, this guy's bad, we're running against him. That's all they focused on.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like if Democrats were to lose in this election, that's all they're going to focus on, because the worry is going to be Trump's got 4 years. He says he wants to be a dictator. Like, legislative agenda, go away. We're just going to focus on stopping him. And that's not a long-term strategy. It feels like both parties need to have an internal civil war. I mean, you're kind of seeing it with Republicans. Trump has tempered a lot of it, but, they took McCarthy out as speaker. Now there's rumors going around that the current speaker may lose his seat. Like, Democrats need to have a civil war, but what happens for Republicans when there is no Trump?
I think you're on the right track, Michael. But I think the Republicans already had their civil war, and it was kind of fired without a shot. The one thing Trump was really right about was how weak the Republican Party was, because he took over the party without any trouble. So there is no civil war in the Republican Party. It's Trump. It's the party of Trumpism. Is it you or me?
It's me.
Okay.
Thank you, DCPD.
The Democrats are going to have to go through a bit of a civil war. The Republicans have already had theirs.
Who do you think is the star that Democrats should look to after post-Biden? I mean, whether Biden wins or loses, this is kind of, like you said, Democrats' opportunity to turn to a new chapter. Who is that new chapter? Because it's going to be hard for Kamala Harris to not be at the top of a lot of people's lists as the former VP or current VP.
So I go to this, and I'm not a Democrat, but I go to this, Michael. The Democrats' biggest problem is they are viewed as elitist and out of touch with regular working class Americans. They are losing voters with just a high school degree. What Democrats need is fucking working class champions. They need who understand the fucking issues that regular working class people care about, like crime and fentanyl and the border. They need voices like this instead of these, elite, snobby AOC kind of voices talking about Green New Deal and all the rest. That's part of it, but no. So I need to find Democrats who can sit at a fucking bar in the middle of fucking Iowa and have a discussion with to contractors about the shit they deal with every day.
But why can't like
Paris.
Republicans? Look at like the Ted Cruz's, the Josh Hall. Like it's not like Republicans didn't go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale. Like when you look at the lineup of universities attended by Republicans, it's the same ivory towers as Democrats. But for some reason, Republicans have been better at talking to voters than Democrats have, and it baffles me.
Well, a lot of it's just demagoguery, but Republicans, and it was, Michael, I've always been this way. I'm a populist. I talk about regular everyday issues. Republicans do more of that. Like Trump does it, even if everything he's doing and saying is bullshit. I'm going to build a wall. I'll keep those people out. Okay, all bullshit, but he hears them.
Mm-hmm.
He listens to them. The Democrats roll their eyes when people talk about the problems at the border. And I hate to harp on this issue, Michael, but small border towns in Texas and Arizona have been crying for years about how their communities have been overrun at the border. But Democrats have ignored it, laughed at it.
How do we fix the border, though? I mean, when you have such an expansive border and most of the people who are actually here illegally are overstaying visas, not coming across the border, like there's a cognitive disconnect when talking about the border. So
completely,
how do we actually address immigration? Or is it just going to be one of those things like abortion was, where it's used as a wedge campaign issue rather, to fundraise off of?
It's probably the latter. Yeah, it's probably the latter. I mean, my position has always been secure the fucking border. Nobody comes in illegally, but we need to dramatically increase legal immigration. Make it a lot. We're a country that needs immigrants, so make it a lot easier for people to come here legally. But the biggest problem right now, Michael, is this whole asylum process.
Yeah.
Like you come into America, and by the way, that's legal. That's not illegally.
That's legal immigration.
You come into America from El Salvador, you claim asylum. Okay, you're given a ticket, appear at a court date in 2 or 3 years, and we release you into the country.
Which is what Republicans refer to as catch and release.
Yeah, and Republicans and Democrats, both parties have been doing this, but that's a broken system. That's a broken system. So we need to really, and it takes money, and Republicans don't want to put money in it, but we really need to increase the resources, because if you come into America and you claim asylum, man, you should be dealt with within a month or two. Because 80 to 87% of the asylum claims eventually are rejected. So
I think it's really interesting when you get Democrats and Republicans together and they actually start talking, like, when we're in green rooms and things like that, and the conversations about immigration come up, the first level is, illegal immigrants, and it's like the catchphrases that you hear on cable news. Once you wipe those away and we actually start talking about immigration, Democrats and Republicans really, they're not that far off. There's a lot of common sense discussions and policies, like in terms of putting up new technology on the border instead of building an actual physical border using, infrared and using drones and things like that. Like Republicans and Democrats. Yeah.
You're so spot on. And it's that way with most issues, right? And I say that as someone who 8, 9, 10, 11 years ago, when you hated Joe Walsh, and by the way, hated on Joe Walsh, son of a gun.
Hater.
I was one of the divisive son of a bitches who would be out there rattling off the talking points on the right, not at all interested in compromise. Both sides are incentivized to just push their base talking points.
Yeah, because I hear words like illegal immigrant, or the combination of illegal immigrant, crime, rape, murder, and automatically I'm like, all right, fuck it. Like, I don't want to hear anything you have to say. Where there's no room for negotiation. It's a very emotional, visceral response. And so much of our debate, whether it's healthcare, whether it's immigration, is visceral responses. And then once you get past that first layer of visceral response, then you hear people go, okay, well, like, I don't really agree with you, but like, there's some middle ground in there. But we never get to that second level of conversation.